This is PlayerProps.ai. This for winners research. We run it up with every betting tool you know in each perk. Travis tested waters, help you swim even the feet first. Now strategies and all you need to help you PlayerProps.ai. This for winners research. We run it up with every betting tool you know in each perk. Travis tested waters, help you swim even the feet first. Now strategies and all you need to help you.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is the day we have been waiting for all NFL season. We finally made it, the last game of the season, Super Bowl Sunday. We have the Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots playing each other at a much earlier time than the Super Bowl usually starts. I feel like the most of what I can remember in like the last 10 years was like an 8:30 p.m. kickoff. And everybody's very upset because with all of the Super Bowl halftime show and all the time that it takes to get through all these amazing Super Bowl commercials that we're all looking forward to, everybody's going to bed at like 4 o'clock in the morning sometimes. So that's 6:30 p.m. Makes it where you don't have to be cranky and upset you have to go to work on Monday. Let's get through literally everything that we can find. So if you remember what I did for the college football final, I kind of looked at every tool and I'm like, here are the things that make the most sense. I think we landed on 4 of them, 3 of them hit, so it was a profitable day. I think that's what we're going to be looking at for this episode as well. We're going through everything that makes sense. This is the first look, the early look. We're recording this, 11 days early, 11 days before the Super Bowl, but this is what we're looking at. Let's find something sexy. Now, if you are somebody who is interested in winning more of your bets and losing less of your bets, just a reminder, this is how this works. PlayerProps.ai, the app that you're looking at on the screen here, the app that you have and the app that you're researching with, that is the car. The Discord that I can't stop reminding you to get into are the keys. If you buy a car and do not take the keys, the car is going to have a little trouble driving for you. You have to get in the Discord to drive the car. The Discord are the keys. I hope that all my analogies and metaphors are making sense to you. The amount of people that we have had sign up for the app, it's almost a mind-blowing, it should be 0, but it's higher than 0. The amount of people that assume that they know how to use the app. They're like, well, I use this other app, I'm going to use this app the same way. No, this app is different from every other app that exists, which is why it's so successful, because it actually focuses on making you a smarter bettor, not just showing you a projection or showing you past hit rates. It's frustrating because the number is higher than 0 on how many people they get the app and then they're like, oh, this app's not for me. This app is literally for everybody on the planet. You can't say the app's not for you. You can say, hey, I ignored every single email, every single video. I ignored everything you sent me to say join the Discord. And then because I ignored everything you said, didn't have the same success as everybody else that listens to you. That is how you do not have success with PlayerProps.ai. Now, if you want to be somebody who does have success with PlayerProps.ai, you'll listen to the guy that created PlayerProps.ai. You get the car, you take the keys, the car drives. The car drives for everybody who takes the keys and gets the car. This is not rocket science. You have to have both. I teach you exactly how to use this app. I do these videos. We go through all the guidelines in the Discord so you know, okay, this is what I look for, this is what I don't look for. Because if you have had my app and you've had maybe, let's just say, pick a random number, like 10 days of not having success with it, I can almost guarantee you did not take the keys. So it is not the app's fault the car is not driving. It's not the app's fault. It's your fault. You have to use the Discord. You have to follow the guidelines. Now, I know this video is going to get 6 million views, so I'm going to make sure I stress that at the beginning of it. If you expect to have the same success as everyone else, you just have to do what everybody else is doing. Oh, is everybody else in the Discord? Maybe I should join the Discord if they're having more success than I am. Again, it's not rocket science. Stop creating excuses for not doing what is required to have success in sports betting. Stop losing your money. I don't know why you're okay with losing your money. It sounds pretty silly, but the people that aren't in the Discord and are trying to use the app on their own, it's ridiculous. Cars don't drive without keys, or key fobs, or whatever the new technology is right now. You get the point. So first off, we're looking at the Moneyline predictor here. And I just remembered that because this video is going to get so many views, that it's probably in the new people that are watching this stuff for the first time. It's probably in your best interest to show you exactly how to do what I'm saying. So once you get the PlayerProps.ai app and you download at minimum the free version, you log in. There's going to be a Discord logo here in the top right. You click on that logo, that gets you into our Discord. There's one more step, which again, if you want to have success, you're going to follow it. It's going back to the app, clicking the P logo in the top left. That takes you to your profile page. There's going to be a big sexy white button here that says Connect Discord. You tap that button, you log into the account, the Discord account that you just joined our server with by clicking that button, and that's what opens up all the channels for you. Again, it's not rocket science. You just have to listen to the words that come out of my mouth. I know how to make you a successful bettor. It's just the effort equals the success. If you want to be a successful bettor, you will listen to the person who knows how to make you a successful bettor. Stop lighting your gosh dang money on fire. Now that we've covered all that stuff, let's start looking at the tools. I want to start with the team tools first because I want to paint the picture of the game script. We've had an incredible amount of success in this NFL season. So on top of having crazy success, if you're tuning in for the first time, as of this recording, the day, which is I'm recording this on Wednesday the 28th, now that we have the projections up and everything, is that 13, 14, 15, 16, 52. So out of the last 52 days of your life, of all of our lives, the last 52 days, we've only had 2 days where football was not profitable. Do you know how many other YouTube channels can say that? Do you know how many other educational research apps for sports betting can say that? I'll help you out. The answer is 0. There's a reason that we have success. There's a reason why we have guidelines that work, because we know, or me creating this app, I know again why you are struggling in sports betting. I can tell why you are losing in sports betting, and I know how to make you not lose as often. And your number one goal for 2026 is not to turn $10 into $1 million on one ticket. It is to increase your win percentage. If you increase your win percentage and focus on that as your main goal, the profit's going to come. Stop lighting your money on fire. Anywho, so I showed you how to do Discord. We stressed how important doing the bare minimum, the free stuff, is to your success and your overall well-being. This is the Moneyline predictor. Right now, as of this second on DraftKings, the Seattle Moneyline is minus 238. And if you're like, I'm not sure what that means, minus 238 means Seattle has a 70.41% implied chance. This is all what the sportsbooks are telling us. DraftKings is saying that the Seahawks have a 70.41% implied chance to win. Our AI is saying Seattle is probably going to win this game, but it's not a 70.41%. The AI says it should be 72%. That's what our system is saying. And so the difference between these two numbers is 1.59%. So, in theory, if the only bet that you wanted to place for Super Bowl Sunday was who is going to win this game, there's your answer, the Seattle Seahawks. Now, because they're so heavily favored, minus 238, you're not going to get a huge amount of bang for your buck. No matter how much you bet, it's a pretty juiced money line. But if the only thing you're going to bet is who to win, you're following the tools that have helped a lot of people win in NFL this past season, try to find the line that's lower than minus 238, but still look for Seattle. That's what Moneyline predictor's saying. Because the money line is favored, and it's more favored than the books, 99 times out of 100, you're going to also see the spread for that team favored. And so that's what we see here, Seattle minus 4.5. So right now, DraftKings has Seattle to win by more than 4 points. RAI says, I'm going to take that side, as opposed to taking the other side, which is New England to lose by less than 5 points or to win the game outright. And it gives it a 55.6% projected chance to hit. So there's another opportunity you can do here. You can do Seattle minus 4.5. That's what the spread predictor is saying. Then we're going to go to the total. Game total. The line right now on DraftKings is 45.5. The AI is projecting 47.7. The difference between those two numbers here is 2.2. So because it's 2.2 more than the line, you see these arrows here. Projected side is going over 45.5. This is something that I'm probably not in love with. Even though the AI is saying this, I don't want to go over or under. I probably won't even consider the total because you have to understand, Seattle has the best pass defense in the NFL, and New England has the second best pass defense. I believe we can go to Team Trends to double check that, but I don't want to touch the top two defenses. I'm going to touch an over for the top two defenses. We'll look at team before we show you the team trends of both those teams. So here, Seattle's line for DraftKings says over under 25.5 points they're going to score. New England over under 20.5. Our projection says that Seattle might score a little bit more than 25.5, 1.5 points higher. That's why you see 27 here. So the projected side is saying go over 25.5. And then here, the projected points for the Patriots is at 20. So it's essentially saying if you are going to bet New England points, you want to go under 20.5. But there's not enough difference there. So yeah, I just don't really like any of the total stuff here. These are two pretty solid defenses. And they always say defense wins championships. So now, again, through the team stuff, the only thing, we'll even star it, that, oh no, this is the total. Through the team tools, the only thing that makes sense would be either Seattle spread or Seattle Moneyline, which is super juiced. So we'll just star both of those for right now. Now let's look at player props. All right. So we see here that New England is 24th most total pass yards allowed. 30th in the last three. So there's only two teams through the regular season that allowed fewer pass yards than the New England Patriots over the last three games here. And Seattle their overall defense is pretty good. And again, this is just a ranking from the regular season because it compares against every team. And if every team doesn't make the postseason, then it's hard to compare it against teams that don't play. But two solid defenses here. So what we're going to do first is we're going to start on receiving yards, and we're going to go to remove baby lines. How many players in this game, based on DraftKings lines, are not baby lines? The answer is 3. We have Diggs, Henry, and JSN. JSN with a monster 95.5 line. So the first thing my eyes are going to scan, because I already know they're not baby lines, that's what we filtered out here, is there isn't a lot of edge. There's not a lot of difference. 7.1, 0.1%, and then 3.5 here. I don't think I want to go under. Even against this defense, there's not that much gap there, so I don't think I want to touch the under on this. There's no difference whatsoever here. And I mean, technically speaking, game script wise, this one would make the most sense, but I definitely want to see more than a 3.1 yard difference. And then look through the playoffs, like Chargers, Houston, Denver. 16 yards, 40 yards, 17 yards. Just need there to be a little bit more difference. Maybe we can find a better line. Let's look at that real quick. So was it 44.5 on DraftKings? It's the best line we got for him. That can't be right. BetRivers is whack. There's no way his over-under line is 24.5. It also has a minus 435 odds. So yeah, that means BetRivers hasn't fixed their Super Bowl props. So we're just going to go with 43.5 on FanDuel being the lowest there, which is just 1 yard difference. So gun to head, it's the only receiving prop that from a game script makes sense, but it's just not enough to touch because there's not enough edge there. So we're going to go to another stat. Let's go to rush yards. 2 players have a rush yard line that is not a baby line. We don't know Trevion Henderson's health. I mean, we could find out real quick. Yeah, we don't even have the rosters, which we don't even know what his health's going to be like. Game script wise, you don't necessarily want to go after the running back on the losing team or the projected losing team. You also don't want to go against a super stout rush defense, which is what Seattle has. So no touching that. And then we have Kenneth Walker here. Barely any difference either. So there's no rushing yard props that make sense. Now we're going to go to passing yards. Did my mouse just die? Oh. I can't tell what's going on with my mouse right now. I think the battery in my mouse...
A few moments later.
So we're back. Apparently, the batteries in my mouse just died in the middle of that when I was trying to go to passing yards. But now we have new batteries. We're back. So we already know that Patriots have a pretty stout pass defense. And Seattle is not super slouchy when it comes to their pass defense either. There is no difference for Sam Darnold, so we wouldn't target the under. His line is relatively low, but again, versing a pretty stout pass defense. Drake May has 12 yards higher projection than his line. This does go with game script. His 3 playoff games, 268, 179, and only 86. Yeah, okay, it was a snowy game. But also, Drake May is... it's hard to say he's overrated because he's in the Super Bowl. But in terms of, like, performance-wise, I know he was up for... I think he's the second or third in terms of MVP odds. You have to factor in that they had the softest schedule of any team this NFL season, any playoff team. And, like, getting 282 against the Giants or 281 against the Jets or 294 against the Bengals is not something that is difficult for a quarterback with an intelligence IQ of, I know that I said intelligence twice because I know intelligence is part of IQ, but it's not that hard for somebody who has an IQ higher than 0 to get those yards against that team. But what I'm curious here, instead of going to the props comparison, I'll stay on the screen. I want to see what his lowest line is. 222, 219 on DraftKings, 218.5 BetMGM, 213.5 on BetRivers, 220, 224. And their over-under odds are what? Minus 115, minus 213. I feel like I like that number a lot more. He's gonna, like, they're gonna be losing. They're not gonna run the ball when they're losing, especially against a stout defense. The only way that the Patriots have a shot in the world at winning this Super Bowl, I feel like, is if he hits this line. If he gets 214 pass yards. I don't see any scenario where he has a Houston game, or much worse, a Denver game, and doesn't hit that. If the Patriots have a shot at winning the Super Bowl. So in terms of player props, I don't hate this one. Again, you have to factor in Seattle's got a pretty good defense overall. They have a very, very stout rush defense. So the only way that you're going to potentially be gaining yards on them is through the air. This is a relatively low line as well. So I think this might be the first prop we consider. BetRivers is the 213.5. So I'm going to go ahead and favorite that. Oh, I just went to my favorite list. These are old ones. Let me clear this real quick. Okay, so we have Seattle minus 4.5. We have Seattle minus 238. This is what I meant to click. this button here. So now we added Drake May. So now we look at what we looked at. Boom. 213.5 Bet Rivers. Let me actually find a better money line before we lock in DraftKings, because I don't think that 238 is going to be the best payout. Oop, I meant to go to best odds. Super Bowl Sunday. 230 hours. So what we'll do here. So 230 is the best Seattle odds. We're going to go here. We're going to change this to FanDuel minus 230. Click on that. Going to go to our favorite list and get rid of the money line on DraftKings, since they don't pay you as much as if you win. And the key to winning at betting is making sure that when you're right, you get paid the most. That's what line and odd shopping is all about. Okay, so we have one prop. We're going to just get rid of the filter here. What's another thing we can look at? Let's go to receptions next. Don't like 0.5 because you're simply betting on him to get a target at that point. I'm not going to touch that. Mac Hollins. So reception's a baby line. We want to have a over reception prop of 3.5 or higher. So he's one below that. But he's got a pretty decent. He's got what? Almost 1.54 projection higher. That's interesting. I don't like running back receptions unless they're elite, like RJ Harvey or Bijan or CMC. So then once we go down, there's not much difference at all. So let me look at the unders here. Nope, not much difference at all. Not even 0.5 difference. So the only thing, and I know this is technically a baby line, but like in the playoffs, so he only played one game in the playoffs. So he was, oh yeah, we don't have the roster data yet. So this game was the 21st. So this was before Christmas. So he's out for a while. He comes back and gets 2 catches on 2 targets in the AFC Championship. So he missed a chunk of time. He's back. He caught everything thrown at him, which is only 2 of them. But again, that's a weird, crazy, snowy game that was just horrible for passing. So if we can assume that he's getting back into this style of offense that he was in for a month and a half, 2 months, yeah, a month and a half, 10 targets, 5, 6, 4, 8, 9. And again, as we already mentioned in our other prop, the only way the Patriots win this game is through the air. If we're already looking at Drake May passing yards, and we look at what is the other New England players? Where's Diggs? Yeah, like there's barely any difference. There's no edge there. No edge here. No edge there. So the only New England player that has an edge. So this is what I mentioned in Discord, which again is the trillionth reason why you should be in Discord. Part of our guidelines is for receptions, also for shots on goal for NHL. I typically need at least 1.0 higher. This is also for 3 points. This is a rule for 3 points in NBA. You want to see a difference of 1.0 higher than the line. So if the line is 2.5, that would mean that his projection has to be 3.5 or higher. And out of every player playing in this game on Super Bowl Sunday, there is only one player out of everybody that has a projection at least 1.0 higher than their line or 1.0 lower than their line. And that player, ladies and gentlemen, is Mac Hollins, former Miami Dolphin. Yes, we typically strive for 3.5 or higher, but I just think this makes the most sense. This game, he got 2 targets in a snow game. And this is what he was doing in the New England offense before he got hurt here on 12/21. So I think this is number 2. So now what we want to do is we want to make sure we get the best odds for 2.5 on Mac Hollins. So we're going to go to the comparison prop stuff. We're going to go to Super Bowl Sunday. We're going to say, hey, if we're doing 2.5 on the over, what's the best payout we can get? Because again, if you're going to get something right, you want to make sure you get paid the most. Here he is. So on the over, this is interesting. So FanDuel doesn't sway either way. DraftKings, BetMGM, and Hard Rock favor the under. Fanatics doesn't have a prop, and BetRivers only has an over prop. So you get plus money on Mac Hollins' over on DraftKings. So we're going to switch to DK here to get that plus money on our favorite list. Yeah, plus 101. Going to start, check the favorite list again. Mackie Mac, Seattle, Drakey. Okay. What other props should we look at next? I know you guys want to pick who's going to score a touchdown. Not my favorite prop because, again, you never, ever, ever want to bet on somebody scoring a touchdown when it's a minus 180. Because you'd be like, oh, yeah, I got the touchdown right. Of course you got it right. It's a minus 180. You're not getting paid enough for the risk of him not getting into the end zone. So what we'll do here is we'll filter out the negative odds. So we go to odds. I don't want any negative odds. So I'll just put this at 0. So now the only players we see for anytime touchdown have an odd that will pay you the proper amount for getting a touchdown call right. And there's only one player out of everybody who has a projection that's higher than 0.5. And that's Stevenson. And he hasn't scored since he had 3 touchdowns against Miami on January 4th. He's only scored in 5 games this entire season. And also, remember, Seattle has like the best rush defense, or close to the best rush defense. He hasn't scored in any of the playoff games. 3 here, 2, 1 here. I don't like it. To be a trifecta, it only requires projection of 1.0 or higher. And if we go back to the anytime touchdown predictor and remove the filter, the odds filter, there's only one player that has a projection of over 1.0 or higher. He scored in his last 2 playoff games. But over the course of the season, yeah, I don't like the minus 180 for a anytime touchdown play. So I don't think we're going to be favoriting any of those. I'm not going to do defensive stuff. We didn't really like anything on rushing or receiving for running backs. We're not going to touch that. Already looked at that. We look at rush attempts. Let's look at that one. The biggest difference between rush attempts and rushing yards is you can run the ball 5 times for 0 yards and still hit. Got a little banged up in this Houston game here. If you look back on the entire season, there's only 3 games, including the playoffs, including the last game, the AFC Championship, that he didn't get 5. So this all depends on how healthy he is, which I'm assuming he's healthy if he has lines and projections and everything for it. I mean, he was like the featured back before he got hurt a little bit. I think it was in between these 2 games, I think. Or during this game against Houston. But it seems like this doesn't go with game script. But you still have to rush the ball in the game. You have to establish the run game for the quarterback to be able to pass. And even though Seattle has a stout rush defense, I still think that they have to try to establish the run. Let me look at what Ramondre says here. 14.5, 13.66. So the under's favored on that. And this is, so yeah, he's been essentially the second string running back. And then all of a sudden, Trevion gets a little hurt, a little banged up in the playoffs. And then he kind of takes over, 16 and 25. But if Trevion Henderson is healthy, which hopefully, because he's got gosh dang 2 weeks to rest up on before his next game. There's only 1 game this season, and that was against Tennessee. 1 game in the regular season, he had this many. But again, he was playing second fiddle. But let's say maybe because he had a pretty decent outing to get them to the Super Bowl, that let's say it's like a 50-50 split now. What's more likely to happen here? That Ramondre Stevenson doesn't get 14.5 or doesn't get 15, or that Trevion gets 5 carries? Because that's 5 to 15. That's what this is, 2/3 of the rush attempts out of that scenario. Under is not favored. It's minus 131 on the over. Trying to think here. I don't want to touch anything else for any other team. This is the only thing I'm considering for rushing attempts. It's Trevion or Ramondre. I mean, getting 5 carries is a whole lot easier than getting 15 carries. But I know Ramondre kind of took over the lead back. But if we're focusing on implied chance and the odds, sportsbooks are going to pay you less for going over Trevion Henderson, and they're going to pay you a lot more for going under Ramondre, which means if they're going to pay you more, they want you to take that bet. If they're going to pay you less, they don't want you to take that bet. So the sportsbooks are trying to get us to not take this bet by making the over minus 148. And I think the Seattle's going to beat up on the Patriots in this game. And so that's what our money line's saying, that's what the spread is saying, that Seattle's going to win this game, they're going to beat up on the Patriots. Now, if you're the Patriots play caller and you're doing something and it's not working out, you're rushing the ball with Ramondre Stevenson, it's not working out, you're trying Trevion every 5 rush attempts, you're putting them in there, plugging them in there, I think that they're gonna freak out, and they're gonna have to try to find different things and see what works. So I feel like they gotta give them the rock at least 5 times. Granted, he's healthy, and I know we don't have the roster stuff because that usually pops up like a week beforehand. But I'm just gonna quickly check on my phone here. I want to see if I can find any article that talks about his injuries at all. The last article at Yahoo Sports put out, Trevion Henderson injury update is bad news for Patriots. The play was dead. Trainers came out to check on him. Eventually he jogged off, but reporters seen looked like he may have hurt his collarbone. I'm not even going to read articles. I'm going to go to... I use Twitter a lot when it comes to player injuries because I feel like that updates a whole lot more. Trevion Henderson. I think I'm going to go with the 5 here. I don't think he's not going to get 5 carries. But I think getting 1 reception, I know we're betting on him to get a target, but we have to figure out like what's the most likely outcome out of these things. Is it, let's go, what are we looking at? Rush attempts? Best payout is on Bet Rivers for over 4.5 rush attempts. But what we were saying, what I was just about to say is we're looking at receptions, and I said like when it's 0.5, you're simply hoping, betting on them to get a target. But if he's playing, if he's on the field enough to get a 4.5 reception or 4.5 rushing line, you have to assume that he's going to get at least a target. And I think it's easier for running backs to catch balls because they're doing the swing outs and they're doing these different things to where it's like a dump off pass. Like, oh, everybody that Drake May's looking at is guarded. Okay, I'm just going to dump the ball off to Trevion Henderson. We're going to star both of those, and then we're going to figure out which, and then we're going to keep looking at stuff, and we're going to figure out what we want to do. So we're going to star. Bet Rivers had the best payout on this one, I believe. Yeah. So we're going to star this. And then receptions. Oh, I guess we're still on Bet Rivers. They don't have anything for him. That's probably why. Hold on. I need to see his best odds real quick again, so we don't. I'm locking in the best line, the best odds. Teach you guys how to use these comparison tools to make sure you make the most amount of money possible in the Super Bowl. BetMGM's got the best over odds. Okay. Meant to check that the first go around, but here we are. So we're going to go to BetMGM. I'm going to lock this in for right now. He gets about 9% of the targets of the entire team. But in this scenario, he just needs 1. And the Seattle defense is decent to where I feel like they're going to be guarding the Patriots' receiving options pretty well. But I still think that he can get a dump-off pass. Because this goes more with game script than the 4.5 rush attempts. Okay, so let's go back to DraftKings. Let's see if there's anything else we want to look at. So we just did rush attempts, receiving yards, interceptions, no, passing touchdowns. Let's check that real quick. Nope, there's no real difference on either of those. Completions. No difference. Attempts. No difference. Longest rush. I don't really like these props. I know Ben likes these props a lot. Longest reception. We already got a Mac Hollins prop. We don't need that one. Longest pass completion. Okay, so let's repop what we're looking at here. it's interesting. So, I mean, game script wise, we're targeting the Patriots passing game. Team script wise, we're targeting the Seattle Seahawks to win and cover. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 6 individual things here. Is there anything that I would remove from this list? I don't think so. I think, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's what we're going to do here. I don't think there's anything else. Now, if this is your first time tuning in, remember that everything we land on in this show, on this YouTube channel, are singles. If you only pair everything we talked about together and one of them misses and you lose money, that is 100% your fault. Not my fault, not the app's fault, not the community Discord's fault, your fault. You have to use this app as designed. You have to play these plays as designed. And it's the only way you can stop bleeding all of the money that you've lost in the last however long since you started betting. 12 months, I don't know. But I think that is the culmination of our first look at Super Bowl Sunday. Anything else we're going to discuss will be in the Discord, which again, it's free to join, and there's 22,000 other people in there that are doing things differently than everyone else. They're following the guidelines. They're working to create a better future for them and their family. If that's something that interests you, just listen to the words that come out of my mouth. At minimum, get the free app, get in the free Discord, and connect those two together. That is the absolute bare minimum that you have to do to start turning the card around, turning the tide, if you will, on making yourself a more successful bettor. But that's all we got for right now. We'll see you guys in the Discord. Good luck.